There's no 2 from DeGrom. I throw a hanging slider. That one is popped up into shallow right field. Robbie Cano. Hey everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to another New York Mets franchise mode episode number 45. As the last one, felt like I was cruising, like I was going to win, had the game in the bag, and then all of a sudden, Della Betances comes in, serves up a home run. All right, I'm still okay. Edwin Diaz has been locked down for me this year. Serves up a single and a 2-run homer. Now we have a tie game. And I was very frustrated because I really thought I was going to win this game. It was against the Pittsburgh Pirates, not the best team in the league by any means. And all of a sudden, in extra innings, Justin Wilson gives up another run and end up losing the game. So all that definitely was unfortunate. Looking to put it behind us. And I think that I want to try bumping it down to all-star for both pitching and hitting. Only because, it's just gotten to the point where this game, it kind of feels a little too difficult. You know what I mean? Like, it's just gotten to the point where, I don't know. I feel like I'm so focused for as long as I can. Then the 7th inning, even there was a pitch with Betances where I threw a slurve way outside, and somehow I just missed the timing on it, and ends up down the middle, boom, gone home run. So, just stuff like that is really frustrating because I just feel like it is so hard to just maintain that focus for like an hour straight, every single game and not make 1 or 2 mistakes and boom, the game is over. I guess that's how it is in real baseball, but I'm very competitive and I get super frustrated and just really stressed out. And it makes me not want to play the game because I feel like I'm going to go through all of this, mix of emotions and all this craziness just to end up losing in the end. So, I really hate when that happens. And I hope that, if I can not have the game be as difficult, I could be a little calmer, a little more relaxed, and just talk about the Mets more and just baseball, sports, or life in general. Because if I start talking about something, it's going to be hard for me to really completely concentrate on both things. Like I said, it's just that one little mistake, and the game is over. So, it really just makes it too much. McNeil leading off. No, we got to take a wallop at that first pitch.
Third baseman, number 6.
Does Jeff swing at that? I don't know, maybe. I hope not, because even as good here Jeff McNeil is, probably not going to do much with that one. In this game, the computer could get a very late jammed, blooper double, something crazy like that. Alonso gets a hanging slider. That's a perfect. It's out of here. Pete Alonso with yet another home run, his 20th of the season, and the New York Mets go in front 1-0. I'm not going to say the same thing 20 times, but if you've seen these videos, you know what it is. Like, throw it over the plate to Alonso, good timing, homer. Again, not much to really go in depth on. Nice to get a hanging slider, though. Again, the difficulty is bumped down, so I'm probably going to get more pitches to hit. Because the thing about Alonso is that even though I've hit 20 home runs with him, I feel like every at-bat it's either home run or walk. That's how most of the at-bats go. Because, I hit so many homers with him that the pitchers just don't fear him and they work around him. Because if you look at Robbie Cano, who has the 250 average, they're much more willing to attack him. That's why I said in the last video, I'd be curious if I put somebody like Conforto behind him, who I'm hitting great with, if that would change how Alonso is pitched to.
Second baseman.
It's just something that the Mets might have to keep in mind. If they believe that if Cano is hitting after Alonso and people are just purposely avoiding Alonso to get to Cano, maybe what they could do instead is back Cano in front of Alonso. This way, if anything, they would have to pitch to Cano and really give him some good pitch to hit, because you don't want to give a base runner for Alonso and then, put him on, but you have 2 base runners. It just makes everything so much harder. So, there's this whole idea of having protection for your players. I do think that's something that Luis Rojas has to keep in mind when making a lineup. And the thing that I've said, which I'm not really sure yet, is Luis Rojas going to be the guy making the lineup? Or is Jeff Wilpon and maybe Brodie Van Wagenen still have so much say? Because that's just the way baseball is now. The front office controls the manager. They're basically just guys that do press conferences. That's all managers really are right now, and just love and allocate to what the players want. You know what I mean? Because so much of it is just controlled from up top. So I don't really know exactly if Luis Rojas will be the guy that decides, who gets the bat where. I do want to see what happens, because it's just like, if Luis Rojas' lineup looks pretty much the same as Mickey Callaway's, that's how you know that neither one of those guys were the ones making the lineups, that it was the front office. So I do think that that'd be something really important to keep an eye on. No 2 from DeGrom. I throw a hanging slider. That one is popped up into shallow right field. Robbie Cano. I mean, usually they kind of just like settle under it, you know, like if you get in the circle, they'll just settle under and make the catch. And I mean, I don't know what that was, but Cano just kept running in circles. I don't know. I mean, normally I'd be yelling, but it just looks funny the way Cano is running around. Oh man. Well, now we're in a bit of a predicament here. We should be, you know, 2 outs with the pitcher up, but now we're in a tough spot because we want to, you know, play ring around the rosy with the baseball. I'm going to try to turn a double play here. I get 1, 2. Oh, how about that? Nice little double play there to make up for the buffoonery out there in shallow right field on the pop-up. Look at McNeil turning this nice double play. I like that very much. Wasn't sure if I was going to get that base run at the 75 speed and then Cano firing it over there. Nice, you know, 2 innings, 2 double plays. I mean, that's going to be really important because the whole stamina with the pitchers is still messed up, especially DeGrom. Ever since I brought him into that Cardinals game back to the next innings, his stamina is messed up, and just everybody's stamina is all over the place. So definitely got to work on that. I don't even know what to do because it's like, what am I going to call up another pitcher and start them? No. You know what I mean? Like, these other pitchers stink, so eventually I hope that some guys could just get some rest. The thing is that, like, I don't want to, you know, not pitch my guys as long because I have to worry about that kind of stuff, because that means more bullpen innings, which means it makes things a lot tougher for me and just the rest of the team. Because that's the thing that I talk about, like with Syndergaard, is that with the Mets pitchers, you can't go 5 innings, because if you do that consistently, that's consistent innings for the bullpen, and the more the bullpen is used, just the worse off you are, because number one, you lose your top guys, so you have to go to the relievers that aren't as good, and even the relievers that you do have, they're not going to be as effective because they're going to be overworked. So, I mean, it is so important for starting pitchers to go deeper into these games, and I'm not saying push them more than what they're capable of, but I do think that, you know, it's important to put hitters away and not put yourself in unfortunate counts and just be able to throw quality strikes so that you can go deep into the game and you hopefully get some double plays. Don't have your infield make some, you know, really bad mistakes where you have a chance to really get out of an inning or make an inning a lot quicker and you don't make it happen. Or you make defensive mistakes on a pop-up like I did with Robbie Cano, or Rosario makes a bad throw. Like, stuff like that is going to make it harder on the starting pitchers and then harder on the bullpen, and it just, like, it navigates into like a whole big thing for the team. As Rosario lines one into left field with JD speed, I would have made it because the throw was so offline, but I mean, you can't predict that the throw is going to be bad. Really, that's a base hit. Oh my goodness, what was that? A check swing hit? Good checked. That is a new one. I mean, even I have never been able to pull off that. Good checked for a base hit. I mean, that's about as unlucky as you can get on my side. Jeez Louise. You would think that maybe, you know, putting the difficulty a little lower would make things easier, but now you have Cano making mistakes in the outfield, and we're getting good checked, and now we got runners on base. You know, oh my goodness, there's just no easy way to play this game. There's no doubt about it. And that was a good, okay base hit, yeah. All the good, okay fly balls I've gotten in my lifetime. Not my lifetime, but just playing this game. Try another 2-2. Struck him out. Inning's over. Cole Tucker definitely put together quite that back end, found off some pitches, but Jacob DeGrom able to put him away. I mean, I'm considering pulling Jake right here only because his stamina is all messed up, and as of right now, he's just barely green. I mean, we know how trying to go to the bullpen is just so risky right now. You know what? The bullpen is rested, and I just want to fix DeGrom's stamina for the future, because I don't want this to be a thing like every start DeGrom doesn't have his full energy. Like, I'm just hoping I'm taking this just this one time to where next time DeGrom will really be ready to go. Oh, Rosario gets that one to fall. So I'm actually going to keep Jake in just to bunt Rosario over. And I just popped it right up to third baseman. Okay, never mind. So that didn't work. I mean, bunting is such a hit or miss thing. Sometimes it works. Most times it doesn't. Wow, really? Good. Is a double play? Come on, man. This is supposed to be an all-star now where, like, you know, I get a little bit of help here. Good. Double play. Give me a break. Oh, DeGrom actually is yelling there. Okay, so perfect time to pull him. Yeah, Okay, I think I figured it out. If you bring in pitchers just doing that like up arrow where like the name pops up and you press put in game, I think they don't get their full stamina. I feel like you have to actually go to bullpen and pick the pitcher and do the whole thing just to get their stamina. That's really like, here's my thing. What's the point of even having this other feature with the up arrow and just pressing the guy then if it's going to mess up his stamina? Why even have that feature if it's going to mess up the pitcher? I mean, especially in something like franchise mode where, you know, day-to-day stamina is actually extremely important. Especially in this game because once a pitcher gets tired, their command is even worse than normal. Like, you can't even control them. So the fact that, like, all of a sudden Justin Wilson's more tired than he should be because I didn't go to an extra menu is just ridiculous. Is it just me or do you guys, like, cannot stand when people drive past your house and just blast this ridiculously loud music? I mean, the whole house is shaking, my ears hurt, and all you hear is boom, boom. Like, I mean, first of all, like, I listen to music, okay, whatever. And, I mean, I play it, like, not crazy loud. I mean, just loud enough to where I can enjoy it. But, I mean, I don't even understand how can you enjoy that? Because just for me, I'm not even in the car and it's too loud. So I can imagine how loud it actually is in the car. I just don't really get the point of that either. I mean, you're trying to focus and record a video and all of a sudden, doo-doo. It's like, what's going on? Opportunity for Big Pete here. We got a runner in scoring position with nobody out. I highly doubt I'll get anything to hit here, though. Oh, just kidding. That's something good to hit as Alonso drives that one to deep left field. Look it up, and that one's out of here. Pete Alonso with his second home run of the ball game, and the New York Mets go in front 3-0. Unfortunately, it's kind of getting to the point now where Alonso literally is just carrying this team, which I don't love. I mean, I know Pete Alonso was terrific last year, but I do think that, you know, guys like McNeil and JD and, you know, whoever else was there, Ramos, I mean, Rosario, these other guys did step up. And I just feel like because of Alonso's power, he's accounted for all the runs. And that isn't really so much like a knock on the other players, more so a knock on me, honestly. Because it's like I have these guys on base and I don't really drive them in as much as I'd like to. And even when I am driving them with Alonso, it's just courtesy of the long ball. I mean, let's just say that, I don't know, maybe Rosario had a ridiculous power rating. Maybe I'd be hitting more homers with him too. So, I mean, that's kind of what's going to happen in these video games when you have someone that's just like so outstanding compared to the rest of the team. But hopefully I can try to get the other team going and make it look more like a team effort, because that's one of the other things I really did like about this Mets team. I mean, one of the games that, actually two of the games that really stand out to me, considering with like Alonso and the rest of the team, was that one game the Mets had a doubleheader against the Marlins. And Alonso hit a big homer, but JD hit a big homer, and Conforto hit a big homer. And the Mets ended up making a comeback and winning that game. And you know what? Like, it got started with Alonso, and there we got some more like it as Michael Conforto drives that one to deep right center. Perfect, and it's out of here. Michael Conforto with his 15th homer of the season, and the New York Mets now go ahead 4-0. But in that Miami game, it was more just like a team thing. It was like, okay, Alonso does some damage, then JD, then Conforto, and the crowd was going crazy. I was going crazy. The team was going crazy. So, you know, we were all just getting really excited. And I just felt like that whole aspect of it was a lot of fun. And then the other game is that game where the Mets made that huge comeback against the Nationals. But prior to that, they were down in a hole. Alonso, JD go back-to-back. And it wasn't just Alonso's homer, but it was JD's homer. Then you think of, you know, Todd Frazier getting the big homer later and Conforto hitting the walk-off. So just the whole team effort, like, you know, again, Alonso had a great year, but he wasn't the only guy that did do well on this team. You know, I think that's what was really encouraging about that second half. And it's like, we want to say, can you put together for two halves? But here's the thing, we might only get one half with the way things are going right now. If it is a short season, and it's like, if we start in July, that's when the Mets made their run anyway, was in July. So I just think that that whole aspect of it is another interesting thing that has changed, you know, based on what we were thinking going into what we thought was going to be a normal season. I mean, who would have thought that? I mean, let's just say we're in the end of September, and the Mets season is over and whatnot, and we're like, oh, well, don't worry, next March, you know, they'll be back, and they'll be doing the thing. As J.D. Davis drives one out to right field, perfect, and it's out of here. J.D. Davis leaves the yard for his sixth shot of the year. New York Mets now go ahead 5-0. I mean, this is the thing, like, at least since I dropped down the difficulty, at least I'm getting to talk about these other things that I wouldn't be talking about right now, because If I was playing on Legend, I'd be too busy crying and complaining and getting so frustrated. I wouldn't even be saying anything at all because I'd be so busy focusing. But now that it's on more of a casual difficulty, we could talk about these different things. Just, the different mindset that we had based on what we thought the season was going to be like. Who would think that, this is what we're going to be doing? Like, oh, don't worry, we don't know if there even will be a season. Like, we weren't thinking that at the end of September last year. I mean, we weren't even thinking that in February when spring training was going on. So, I mean, it's just crazy how this whole thing, it took us storm, like the snap of the finger. I feel like once that Gobert thing happened, once they found out that he had the virus, and then all of a sudden baseball got shut down, I was like, everything's over. It's just like goodbye. So, I mean, again, I just hope that people could just be smart and, we can come up with a nice little proposal, and little by little, we could just get this thing back up and running in a safe way, again, not only physically, but for the players themselves, being happy and being with their families. That's very important to me. As we get a good from Ramos. Nice little ground out. Nimmo. That one gets right past second base. On Legend, he catches that 100%. 1 run, 2 runs. Going to stop McNeil at third. It's a 2-run, I guess, double for Nimmo? Aaron, what we call that? 2-run double. Okay, I like that. Very nice. Still hitting it, though. I mean, oh, God, I guess I might have to put the difficulty back up. I didn't really think it was going to make this much of a difference, but it just might. I mean, that's the thing. If every game turns out like this, I'll have to bump it back up a little bit. I have to be honest with you. I do like it better this way because just like I get to chill for the most part and just kind of relax and hit some balls and talk about the Mets, which is kind of the whole goal of this series. And talk with you guys in the comments as well, just about, like I said, the Mets and just anything you want to talk about in general. But, I mean, I guess just for the sake of competition and trying to really keep it the way it's supposed to be and what these games potentially could have looked like if they were actually played, like, might have to bump the difficulty back up. J.D. Davis drives another one out to center field. Perfect center fielder looking up. It's out of here. Wow. J.D. Davis going yard. His 2nd of the game and 7th of the season. If you remember, when I was hitting on Directional and I had it on Legend or Hall of Fame Plus or whatever, JD was not hitting well. He was cold and I really wasn't doing much with him. But, I mean, definitely putting easier hitting settings on and bumping down the difficulty. Definitely trying to get JD back on track. That would be nice because he is one of my favorite players on the team. And as a guy I did such a 360 on, I was actually listening to my older podcast from when the season first began. And every time the Mets faced a lefty, JD was batting cleanup. And I was like, all right, I know this guy has good numbers against left-handers in the minor leagues, but how does that give him, like, the credentials to be the cleanup hitter? You know what I mean? Like, just because you were good in the minors doesn't mean that you could be a major league cleanup hitter. I just didn't think that he showed that he was worthy of that. And for the most part, I had been right. I was like, he isn't really doing anything there. He's not any good. All this. I mean, this wasn't. The Mets didn't give up too much to get him, but I was like, oh, they think this guy's going to be a big deal, blah, blah, blah. But, of course, once he had that game against the Nationals and Patrick Corbin hit those 2 home runs, all of a sudden we were like, wait a second, what's going on here? Is this guy actually got something in him? And we started to see more of that more consistently. And we knew that J.D. Davis could hit the ball, whether it was right-handers or left-handers. And he was just a really cool addition to the team. And, I mean, probably my favorite thing about him is just how selfless he is and how much he enjoys the team. Because, like, I just loved last year when Alonso would do something great or McNeil, whoever, and you just see JD in the dugout just doing a dance or a funny celebration or whatever. Just him celebrating for the other teammates, not just himself. I really love that. And then when he had the walk-off against Cleveland and he screamed, "Let's go Mets," like, you could just see the passion in him and how much he wants to win, how excited he was to be a Met. And I just think all that stuff combined and how good he was doing also. I mean, I'm not really going to root for a guy who was terrible, but it definitely had me become on the J.D. Davis bandwagon, I guess you could say. And he definitely became one of my favorite players on the team. So, I mean, I would like to see him do well in the game because that would just make it more fun for me. Hitting Cole Tucker, not as much fun. 2-2. That one's hit shallow right field. Conforto coming on, and he makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Oh my goodness, that would have been a really nice way to extend the game. Just drop it out there in right field. But we do end up winning the game. I was only up 1-0 going into, what was it, the 6th inning, and then all of a sudden we really went off, and everybody got going, led by Alonso hitting 2 home runs, I think in the same inning. And we also had JD hit 2 homers, and we had Michael Conforto go yard, and Nimmo got a big 2 RBI hit. And that's all really important because I was able to rest Betances, rest Lugo, rest Diaz. But this way, the next time I bring them in, hopefully I don't blow the lead again, but don't have to overtire them because, like I said, I didn't want to push DeGrom since his stamina is so messed up in that Cardinals game, but I still brought him in to close it. So I really just want to get Jake back on track, so that's why I didn't push him. Only went to 5 innings. And I went to the bullpen, and I had to go to Wilson for the 6th inning, and I messed up the stamina because I did the whole up arrow instead of going into the bullpen, then picking him, then putting in game. So I definitely have to work on trying to not do that. This way I don't tire out my pitchers more than I should. And the final score, I mean, it definitely is nice for me, but I don't want to take away from these being like competitive videos, trying to, you know, recapture what could have been if the season was played. So we'll see how it goes. And again, if I have to bump it back up, I will. But until the next one, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Subscribe to keep up with everything going on. And until the next one, be safe, be smart, be healthy, and have a good one, everyone.